Hello, I'm Bailey Leisure, and today on my channel I'm going to be recapping the recent round of the playoffs, as I'm going to be recapping the American League Championship Series as well as the National League Championship. First series I'm going to talk about was the first series that started, and the first one to end in this round of the playoffs was the NLCS between the Washington Nationals and St. Louis Cardinals. And the way this series played out, I think after that big blowout victory in Game 5 of the NLDS between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves, the way the Cardinals played in this series, I think signaled that they were probably maybe not meant to win that NLDS round against the Braves, because the Nationals just, their bats, the St. Louis Cardinals bats just went silent in that series. Game 1, Anibal Sanchez threw 7 2/3 of no-hit baseball. And he's pretty much the number 4 starter for the Washington Nationals as the Nationals shut out the Cardinals. In the next game, Max Scherzer pitched another great gem in the playoffs. He took a no-hitter into the 7th inning, and they won that game 3-1, going up 2-0, going back home. In Game 3, they were just the Nationals the bats came alive early, and they just dominated the St. Louis Cardinals. Steven Strasburg put up 7 innings of a great pitching staff, and then kind of an opposite, not as many runs, but an opposite effect that happened to the Braves in the NLDS. They had that happen to them. They gave up 7 runs in the first inning of Game 4. The Cardinals, put up 4 more runs in that game. Their bats just came alive just a little bit too late. Patrick Corbin went only, I think, 5 innings, but he struck 12 batters out. I mean, it just, that pitching staff just dominated, the St. Louis Cardinals bats as the Nationals swept the St. Louis Cardinals, winning their first National League pennant in franchise history, as they will be headed to their first ever World Series in franchise history. The NLCS MVP was Howie Kendrick, and he took that momentum from that big grand slam in Game 5 against the Dodgers in the NLDS, and he carried it. The pitching staff just dominated the Nationals, just, playing in front. It was just, no contest when it came to that. And I knew the Nationals were going to win, but I expected this series to be a lot more competitive, and that it was not. Marcell Ozuna and Paul Goldschmidt, the big bats from, the previous series, they just went silent. And they just they couldn't recover. And, like I said, in that Game 4, they were down 7-0. They scored the next 4 runs, but by then it was just too late, and just the pitching staff just dominated the St. Louis Cardinals. And then moving on to the ALCS that just ended a couple days ago. This was a pretty competitive series between the New York Yankees and the Houston Astros, a rematch of the 2017 ALCS that happened, and in which the Astros won that series in 7 games and went on to win the World Series. So Game 1, it was pretty much a dominance for them. The bullpen dominated the Astros. Tanaka pitched a great performance. Zach Greinke was a little bit shaky, and the bats just went silent in this series. That brought up to Game 2. Justin Verlander pitched about 7 innings, gave up only 2 runs. The Astros, bats came alive a little bit. George Springer got a home run to tie that game in the 5th. This game went to extra innings when Carlos Correa hit the walk-off home run to send this series to New York, tied in the series, one game apiece. The Astros, Garrett Cole, pitching for a big contract in the offseason, and that he put another great performance. He was just dominant in this game, went 7 innings. The Astros got some big power from Jose Altuve. I'll talk about his name. We're going to be talking about his name was very prominent in this series, and it was prominent in this game, Game 3, as the Astros won this game 4-1. Game 4, Zach Greinke went on the mound. Greinke did a little bit better than he had in his 2 previous starts in this postseason. Only went 4 2/3, but was able to limit the damage. The Yankees had a couple bases loaded and some runners in scoring position. In those first couple innings, they were able to limit the damage. The Astros were led by 2 big 3-run home runs by George Springer and Carlos Correa that put them up, and they won this game 8-3. And that was a big thing. Game 5, the Astros put Justin Verlander on the mound, James Paxton. The Astros did go up 1-0 in this. All the scoring happened in the first inning for both teams. The Astros scored 1 run in the first inning, but the Yankees countered with 2 home runs, a solo home run to lead off the inning by DJ LeMahieu, and then a 3-run shot by Aaron Hicks. James Paxton pitched a great game. You know, Justin Verlander, even after the first inning, he still had a pretty decent performance, but the Yankees bullpen and starting pitching just led the way, and that sent this series back to Houston as the Astros were up 3-2. This game started off, you know, the Astros struggled to hit with runners in scoring position, but they got the big hit in the first inning, that 3-run home run by Louis Cardinals. But and this was a bullpen game for both teams, but the Yankees, you know, they fought back. They got a couple, you know, I think Gary Sanchez got an RBI in the first inning. Gio Urshela got a home run to make this a 1-run game. The Astros added a run thanks to a fielder's choice RBI by Alex Bregman. That set, you know, we saw some great defensive plays by great Astro players such as Josh Reddick and Michael Brantley with an incredible play in the 7th inning. And then the 9th inning happened. What a crazy inning that was. So it was 1 out. It was a 3-2 pitch. There was a runner on. And DJ LeMahieu, who's been one of the best Yankee hitters in this season for the Yankees, hit the 2-run home run to tie the game. You know, and then here came the bottom of the 9th. So Aroldis Chapman came in. He hasn't pitched a lot in this series or in this playoffs just to begin with, but, you know, he got the first 2 out. Then he walked Springer. He had Altuve up. You know, I think it was a 2-1. You had Michael Brantley on deck, so you had lefty. He threw a 2-1 slider to Jose Altuve, and he just got all the pitch, crushed it, hits a walk-off home run, sends the Astros to their 2nd World Series in 3 years. And the Jose Altuve goes on to win the ALCS MVP. And for the 3rd time in this decade, the Astros have eliminated the New York Yankees in the playoffs. And this is the first decade since I think the 1910s that not only the Yankees have not won a World Series, but they didn't even appear in a World Series in this decade. But the Yankees have some great pieces, and I feel like they'll be back. But the Astros, you know, the series was very tight and competitive, unlike the NLCS, but, you know, the Astros, the home field advantage worked for them, and they were able to come away with this series. What were your thoughts on the ALCS and the NLCS? Leave in the comments section below. As always, follow me on Twitter at Leisure96. Click like if you like the video, and subscribe if you like the content of my channel. And check out for tomorrow, as I didn't talk about the World Series in this video, but I'm going to give my World Series preview and predictions between the Nationals and the Astros. That video will be coming out tomorrow, as I stated before. So check out tomorrow on my channel. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.